Life is short, but most people don't realize just how short until it's too late. We wake up, we work, we scroll, we complain, we repeat. And before we know it, entire months, years, even decades slip through our fingers. We dream about a better life, but we don't pursue it. We make plans, but we never act. We tell ourselves we'll start tomorrow, when we feel ready, when things are easier, when the timing is perfect. But deep down, we know the greatest tragedy is not dying, it's never truly living. This message isn't here to judge you. It's here to wake you up. To remind you that your life is happening right now. That you have more power than you think. That it's not too late to change, to grow, to begin again. Let me ask you something that most people avoid. Have you ever stopped for a moment and truly asked yourself, am I living the life I was meant to live? Or am I just existing day by day, hoping things will magically change? So many people today are alive, yes, their hearts are beating and their lungs are breathing. But inside, they're tired, they're lost, and they're running on autopilot. They wake up, check their phones, go to work, go through the motions, and then repeat the same routine tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. Life becomes a cycle of sameness, and somewhere in that cycle, they lose sight of something essential, purpose, meaning, passion. Now here's the truth no one likes to admit. Life is short, terribly short. And most people, without even realizing it, are wasting it. Not because they're doing something obviously destructive. Not because they're making terrible choices, but because they're not really choosing at all. They're drifting, waiting, postponing, living in the land of someday. Someday I'll start that project. Someday I'll travel. Someday I'll change careers. Someday I'll get healthy. Someday I'll find the courage to do what I love. But here's the problem. Someday is not a day on the calendar. It's a lie we tell ourselves to stay comfortable. And comfort, while tempting, is often the silent killer of potential. You see, wasting your life doesn't always look dramatic. It doesn't mean you're on the streets or in crisis. It often looks ordinary. It looks like scrolling 4 hours through meaningless content. It looks like saying yes to things you don't care about because you're afraid to say no. It looks like living a life that's safe, but empty. It looks like always being busy, but never fulfilled. It looks like ignoring that quiet voice in your head that keeps whispering, "This isn't what you're meant for." That's what wasting your life looks like in the modern world. And because it looks so normal, most people never realize it's happening until it's too late. But here's the good news. Awareness is the beginning of change. The fact that you're listening now means something inside you wants more. You're not satisfied with mediocrity. You're not willing to spend this one and only life just surviving. You want to live with fire, with direction, with meaning. And that's possible, but only if you're willing to break free from the trap most people fall into. The trap of distraction, the trap of fear, the trap of waiting. Too many people think they have time. But you don't. Time is not promised. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. And every minute you spend living someone else's life saying what they want you to say, doing what they expect you to do is a minute you'll never get back. This life is yours, not your parents', not society's, not your boss's, yours. And the most tragic thing you can do is to reach the end of your life and realize you never truly lived it on your terms. So what do? You wake up. You get honest. You stop lying to yourself. You stop pretending you're okay with less than what you were made for. You stop numbing your dissatisfaction with entertainment, food, or fake positivity, and you start asking the real questions. What do I really want? What lights me up? What scares me in a good way? What would I do if I wasn't afraid of judgment or failure? Because those answers will point you toward the life you were meant to live, not just the one you've settled for. And let me be clear, living fully doesn't mean you have to quit your job tomorrow or travel the world with a backpack. It simply means you live with intention. You stop letting life happen to you, and you start shaping it, one decision at a time. You stop saying someday and start saying now. You stop waiting for permission and start giving yourself permission. You were not born to simply exist. You were born to create, to feel, to grow, to impact, to rise, to struggle, to overcome, to love, and to leave something behind that mattered. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy. In fact, living a life that matters is often harder, messier, more uncertain. But it is also richer, deeper, and far more fulfilling. You will fail. You will question yourself, but you will also rise, again and again, with more strength, more clarity, and more truth in your heart than ever before. So let this be your wake-up call, your reminder, your spark. Don't waste your life trying to impress people who don't care. Don't waste your life doing things that drain your soul. Don't waste your life running from fear instead of running toward your dreams. Your life is now, not tomorrow, not someday. Now, the clock is ticking. What will you do with it? Most people think that wasting life means doing absolutely nothing. But the truth is far more subtle and far more dangerous. The real tragedy is that you can be incredibly busy, constantly doing things, working long hours, going to meetings, replying to emails, managing schedules, and still be wasting your life. Activity is not the same as progress. Being busy is not the same as being fulfilled. And in today's world, where distractions are everywhere and society rewards constant motion, it's easy to confuse the two. But here's the hidden cost. Every day you spend running on autopilot, doing things that don't bring you joy or meaning, you are spending a piece of your life you will never get back. Time is your most valuable currency. You can always make more money. You can always meet new people. You can always change jobs or move cities, but you can never get your time back. Once it's gone forever. And yet, so many people treat their time like it's limitless. They say yes to things they don't want to do. They spend hours mindlessly scrolling. They stay in relationships that no longer serve them. They keep jobs they hate just because it's comfortable. And deep down, they know they're not truly living, but they don't stop. Why? Because it's easier to stay numb. It's easier to stay distracted. It's easier to say, I'll figure it out later. But let's be honest, how many laters do you think you have? How many times can you delay your dreams before they disappear? How many chances will life give you before it stops asking? Wasted time doesn't just cost you opportunities, it costs you confidence. Every time you ignore that dream inside you, a small part of you dies. A part that used to believe you could do more. A part that believed your voice mattered. a part that trusted you would show up for yourself. And when that part fades, what's left is doubt, regret, and a quiet sadness that follows you no matter how busy or successful you appear on the outside. So how do you know if you're wasting your life? You feel it. You feel it in the dullness of your days, in the heaviness of your heart, in the lack of excitement when you wake up in the morning. You feel it in the way you talk yourself out of change, in the excuses you've memorized, in the dreams you've buried so deep you barely remember them anymore. That feeling isn't just sadness, it's your soul trying to wake you up. You weren't made to live a small, safe life. You were made to feel alive. To rise in the morning with something to look forward to create things that didn't exist before you touched them, to connect deeply, to laugh loudly, to cry when it matters, to chase something so meaningful that it terrifies you and excites you at the same time. That's what it means to live. That's what it means to honor the gift of being alive. But to do that, you must make hard choices. You must say no to good things to say yes to great things. You must learn to protect your time like you protect your most precious treasure because it is. You must be brave enough to disappoint others in order to stay true to yourself. And you must be honest enough to admit when you've been playing small, living on autopilot, or avoiding your truth. There is no shame in wasting time if you learn from it. Regret becomes power when it leads to action. So don't dwell on the past. Don't beat yourself up for what you didn't do. What matters now is this: what will you do next? You are not stuck. You are not too late. You are not broken. You are just one decision away from a different life. The question is, are you willing to take it? This isn't about perfection. It's about direction. It's about having the courage to turn the wheel when you realize you're heading the wrong way. It's about making small changes with big impact, choosing purpose over comfort, passion over approval, truth over fear. And it starts now, right here. Don't wait until you're older. Don't wait until life forces you to change. Don't wait for permission. Decide today to live deliberately. Decide to create a life that reflects who you really are, not just who the world expects you to be. Time is passing whether you're ready or not. Use it, guard it. Spend it on things that feed your soul, because once it's gone, all that's left is the question: did you really live, or did you just survive? One of the biggest reasons people waste their lives isn't laziness or ignorance, it's fear. Not loud, obvious fear like the kind you feel before jumping off a cliff or speaking on stage. It's the quiet kind, the invisible kind. The fear that hides behind your daily routines and disguises itself as responsibility or logic. It's the fear of judgment, the fear of failure, the fear of change, and perhaps most dangerous of all, the fear of being truly seen. See, deep down, many people are afraid of their own potential. They're afraid of what might happen if they really tried. Because if you give something your whole heart and it doesn't work, then what? It's safer, they think, to not try at all. Better to settle for a job you tolerate, a relationship that's just okay, a life that's predictable. Better to stay small, to stay quiet, to stay hidden. But here's the irony: trying to avoid pain is the very thing that creates it. Avoiding risk creates regret. Avoiding failure creates stagnation. Avoiding discomfort creates disconnection. We are not meant to live in hiding. You were not born to shrink. You were born to expand. And that expansion always begins with courage. Not the kind of courage that comes from being fearless, but the kind that says, even though I'm scared, I'll still move forward, because the truth is, fear never really goes away. You just learn to live above it. You learn to take action in spite of it. And over time, what once felt terrifying begins to feel like growth. But fear has clever ways of stopping you. It doesn't always say, don't do this. Sometimes it says, you're not ready. You're not good enough. You need more time. You don't have what it takes. And the more you listen, the more you delay, the more you drift. Days become weeks, weeks become months. And before you know it, you've built a life around avoidance instead of intention. So how do you break free from fear? You start by naming it. You get honest about what you're actually afraid of. Not just the surface level fears, but the deeper ones. Are you afraid of being judged? Of failing publicly? Of disappointing your family? Of outgrowing your friends? Of being alone? Once you name it, you take away some of its power. Because what you hide will control you, but what you face, you can change. And then, you move, you take one step, even if it's small, even if it's messy. You stop waiting for confidence and start building it through action. You learn by doing. You grow by trying. You evolve by taking risks. You stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if I never try? Because that's the real danger, not failure, but regret. Not rejection, but staying invisible your whole life. Not losing, but never even stepping into the game. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to stop letting fear be your decision maker. You just need to want your future more than you fear your past. You just need to remember that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward even when fear is present. Let's be clear. Building a meaningful life is not about being reckless. It's about being honest. It's about recognizing where fear is quietly dictating your life and deciding to stop letting it. It's about doing what matters even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable, because that's where your real life begins, on the other side of what scares you. So ask yourself, what have you been avoiding? What dream have you buried beneath excuses? What version of yourself have you been too afraid to become? And more importantly, how much longer will you let fear steal your time? Every time you choose safety over growth, you are not just delaying change, you are actively wasting a part of your one precious life. Don't let that happen. Don't let fear be the narrator of your story. You deserve more than that. You are more than that. And deep down, you know it. The people who live the most extraordinary lives are not the ones who had no fear. They are the ones who felt it and acted anyway. They are the ones who said yes, who tried, who failed, who learned, and who kept going. They are the ones who refused to let fear waste their life. Be one of them. So far, we've talked about how life slips through your fingers when you live on autopilot, drifting, delaying, or hiding behind fear. But here's the shift that changes everything. You can choose to live with intention. You can choose, every single day, to live on purpose. And when you do that, when you stop simply reacting to life and begin to design it, everything starts to feel different, more alive, more real, more powerful. Living with intention doesn't mean you have to wake up at 5 a.m. or meditate on a mountain top. It doesn't mean quitting your job or becoming some perfect version of yourself overnight. Living with intention simply means this: you decide how you want to live and then you act like it. It means you stop waiting for the right moment and start creating the moments that matter. It means you stop being pulled by distraction and start being guided by direction. So how do you begin? First, you pause. You step back from the noise and ask the questions that truly matter. What do I value most? What kind of person do I want to become? What do I want to be remembered for? These questions aren't easy, but they're essential. Because your answers become your compass, your answers shape your priorities. And without clear priorities, your life will be shaped by other people's expectations. The truth is, most people don't live intentionally because they've never really slowed down long enough to define what a meaningful life looks like for them. They chase goals they never chose. They compare themselves to people they don't even know. They follow a path that leads to success, only to find that success feels hollow because it wasn't aligned with who they truly are. But you can break that pattern. You can begin today by choosing how you spend your time, your energy, your focus. Ask yourself each morning, what matters most today? What small thing can I do that aligns with my purpose? What can I let go of that doesn't serve me anymore? When you live with intention, ordinary moments become sacred. A simple conversation becomes connection. A quiet hour of deep work becomes creation. A walk in nature becomes clarity. It's not about having more, it's about being more present with what you already have. And from that presence, purpose begins to grow. Of course, intention doesn't mean control. Life is still unpredictable. You'll still face setbacks, pain, and unexpected change. But when you live with intention, you stop being a victim of circumstances. You stop saying, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "How can I grow through this?" You become the kind of person who responds rather than reacts, who creates rather than consumes, who chooses rather than complains. And here's the beautiful part. You don't need everything to change all at once. You just need to begin. You just need to take small, consistent steps toward the life that aligns with your truth. You build your life in the moments when no one's watching. In the tiny decisions, the books you read, the people you spend time with, the things you tolerate, the things you say yes to, the things you say no to. These things may seem small, but over time, they become your life. They shape who you are becoming. So if you want to stop wasting your life, don't wait for a big transformation. Start where you are, with what you have. Focus on what you can control. Choose to bring awareness into your actions. Choose to speak more honestly. Choose to connect more deeply. Choose to create something today, even if it's imperfect. Choose to say yes to what excites you and no to what drains you. Living with intention is not about perfection. It's about clarity. It's about alignment. It's about making sure that your actions reflect your values and your values reflect your heart. Because when you start doing that, every part of your life begins to change. You begin to feel more alive, more grounded, more connected to yourself and the world around you. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be awake. You just have to care enough about your time, your voice, your potential to use them with purpose. This is how you stop wasting your life. You choose to live it, fully, consciously, intentionally. And once you start living like that, there's no going back. One day, your time on this earth will run out. You don't know when, you don't know how, but you know it's coming. And when that day arrives, you won't be taking anything with you, not your money, not your titles, not your possessions. All that will remain is the impact you made. The lives you touched, the stories people tell about you when you're gone. That's your legacy. And whether you realize it or not, you are building it right now through every word you speak, every action you take, every decision you make. You don't need to be famous to leave a legacy. You don't need millions of followers or a perfect life. Your legacy is not about attention, it's about intention. It's about the way you make people feel. The truth you live by, the example you set when no one is watching. So the question is, what will you leave behind? Will people remember you as someone who chased their dreams or someone who buried them? As someone who gave their best or someone who settled for less? As someone who brought light into the room or someone who always dimmed their own fire? It's easy to believe that your life only matters if it's big or loud or groundbreaking. But often, the most powerful legacies are the quiet ones. A parent who taught their children how to love without conditions. It's easy to believe that your life only matters if it's big or loud or groundbreaking. But often, the most powerful legacies are the quiet ones. A parent who taught their children how to love without conditions. These things may seem small, but to someone, they are unforgettable, and sometimes they are life-changing. Your legacy isn't built in one grand gesture. It's built in the way you live every day. It's in how you treat people, how you handle adversity, how you show up for the people you love. It's in the courage to be kind when the world is harsh. It's in the strength to forgive when it would be easier to stay bitter. It's in the way you rise after you fall and the way you help others rise, too. And here's the truth that many people miss. When you live with purpose, you automatically leave a legacy. You don't have to force it. You just have to be real. To live from your values, to speak your truth. To take responsibility for your life instead of blaming others or waiting for rescue. That alone sets you apart. That alone inspires others. Because in a world full of noise and distraction, authenticity is rare. And when people see someone who is genuinely alive, fully present, deeply human, they remember. Living for yourself will make you successful. But living for something greater than yourself, that's what makes you significant. That's what echoes beyond your time here. And that doesn't mean sacrificing everything. It means giving your life meaning by sharing it. It means taking your pain and turning it into healing. Taking your joy and turning it into generosity. Taking your story and turning it into hope for someone else. You don't have to save the world to matter. You just have to show up with your whole heart wherever you are. Because someone is watching you even if you don't know it. A child, a friend, a stranger who sees how you live and finds strength because of it. Your courage becomes their courage. Your honesty gives them permission to be real. Your resilience reminds them they can keep going, too. And when your time comes, when you take your last breath, what will remain is not how high you climbed, but how deeply you lived. Not how much you earned, but how much you gave. Not how many people feared you, but how many people felt safe with you. That's the legacy that matters. That's the one worth building. So don't waste your life chasing things that won't last. Don't spend it trying to impress people who won't even be at your funeral. Don't trade your truth for comfort or your values for approval. Instead, live in such a way that your life becomes a message, a light, a legacy, because you are not just here to exist. You are here to leave something behind. Make it count. This is it. If you've listened this far, something in you is stirring. Something in you is tired of drifting, tired of doubting, tired of wasting time. And something else is awakening, a deeper voice. A voice that's been quiet for too long. A voice that's saying, enough, enough waiting, enough hiding, enough pretending that you don't know you were made for more. This is your wake-up call. Not a gentle nudge, but a loud, undeniable reminder that your life is happening right now, not someday, not after this season, not when you feel ready, right now. You don't get to rehearse this. There are no do-overs. This isn't a trial run. This is the real thing. Every second you spend doubting your worth, delaying your dreams, or living someone else's version of life, you are trading something you can never get back, time. And not just time, but the you that could have been. The joy you could have felt, the impact you could have made, the love you could have given and received. That's the cost of wasting your life, and it is a cost far too high. So stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for clarity to fall from the sky. Clarity comes when you move. Confidence comes when you act. Purpose grows when you start showing up, even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect. Your life will never change until you do. This isn't about hustle. It's not about burning yourself out chasing the world's definition of success. This is about alignment. This is about truth. This is about looking yourself in the mirror and asking, am I really living? Not existing, not surviving, living. Waking up with intention, loving without fear, speaking with honesty, creating with heart, choosing what matters, protecting your peace, owning your time, growing your soul. That's what it means to be alive. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. Change always is. Growth never feels safe. But comfort is not your purpose. Safety is not your calling. You weren't created to coast. You were made to rise. You don't have to become someone else. You don't have to chase a perfect image. You just have to become more of who you really are. You just have to stop numbing yourself with distractions. Stop silencing your voice. Stop living like you have forever, because you don't. The clock is ticking, not in a fearful way, but in a sacred way. You have a limited number of days to build something meaningful, to love deeply, to leave a mark that outlives your time here. And every day you let fear decide, you lose ground. Every day you say later, you say no to the life that's trying to begin right now. So what will you do? Will you wake up, really wake up? Will you decide that your dreams, your voice, your life matter? Will you stop settling for a half-hearted living and say, this is it. This is my moment. This is where I draw the line. I will no longer waste what cannot be replaced. Because if you do that, if you decide today is the day you'll feel it, you'll feel the shift. You'll feel your heart come alive again. You'll feel that deeper strength rise up inside you. Not because everything is suddenly easy, but because you finally stopped waiting for easy. You stopped waiting for a guarantee and chose to live anyway. That's the power you've had all along, so take it, own it. Step into your life like it actually belongs to you. Because it does. Don't let fear run it. Don't let distractions waste it. Don't let regret be the final chapter. You were made to live wide awake. You were made to burn bright. You were made to leave this world better than you found it. So don't waste your life. Live it. If you've made it to the end of this message, something inside you has already shifted. You've heard the call. You've felt the truth. Now it's time to live it. Your life is not an accident. You are not here just to exist, survive, or meet expectations. You are here to grow, to give, to love, to rise, to create, to make this world a little brighter because you are in it. You are the author. You are the architect. You are the one who gets to decide what this life becomes. So don't let fear choose for you. Don't let comfort keep you small. Don't let the noise of the world drown out the sound of your soul. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to take the next step. You don't need to wait another day because this one is already here.